April 2015 Fairfax Chapter National Federation of the Blind audio magazine. In this issue, Kathy Schroeder talks about Uber and its accessibility, and Fred Schroeder reminisces about why National Convention is so important.
Welcome to the audio magazine for the Fairfax chapter of the National Federation of the Blind of Virginia. We believe that the vision impaired can be just as capable as their sighted peers with the right attitude and training. Each month, we bring you highlights and news from our meetings. And now, here's your host, John Bailey.
Hi, this is John Bailey. I'm president of the Fairfax Chapter, National Federation of the Blind, and I want to welcome you to the highlights from our April meeting 2015. Before we get started, let me give you a couple of notes on what's happening with the chapter, some current events, and we're making some long-term plans I think you'll be very interested in. First things first, finding a new meeting location. As I mentioned last month, Fairfax Chapter is outgrowing the meeting room at Glory Days Grill at the Pan Am Shopping Center in Fairfax. We're just getting too many members. Oh, what an awful problem to have. Well, we're looking around for a new location, and we think we found a possibility. So at our May meeting, there is a recreation center right near the Vienna metro station. So we're going to give that a try at our May meeting. For exact information about location and times and all that, please keep an eye out. We're going to put that in the NFB announce mailing list, NFBV announce mailing list. And that'll give you more details. And actually, Kathy Schroeder, a bit ahead of time, is going to show people how to walk from the Vienna metro station to our meeting location. That will be great. That will open up the chapter to areas that I'm sure would really like to have the opportunity to go to a National Federation of the Blind meeting that's close and convenient to them. Something else coming up. I'm really excited about this. October is Meet the Blind Month. Now, the National Federation of the Blind is very active during October. It's like our PR month, Public Relations Month, and we make a special effort to get the word out about all the great things the National Federation of the Blind is doing, and the Fairfax chapter is going to do this by having a technology seminar. We're still researching where it's going to be, but October is our target month. We'll have it before state convention, sometime in October, and it will be about iPhone accessibility. Now, I find it paradoxical. The iPhone, one of the greatest graphical user interfaces, icons and links and all that, it's actually one of the most accessible devices out there for the blind. There's so many useful utilities out there. And with just a little bit of training, talking to a knowledgeable person, it can open up a whole new world to you, podcasts, utilities, all sorts of things like that. Well, we've had one of these before, and it was so successful. So we're going to do it again, and we're going to have not just instructors, we're going to have visually impaired blind instructors show you so they know what the challenges are, and they can show you all their hard-learned shortcuts so that you could be really effective as quickly as possible on the iPhone. Sure, you spend a lot of money on it. There's no reason for you to get the most out of it. So yeah, that's it for the news. Now let's get to some highlights from our meetings. Kathy Schroeder is current Vice President of the Fairfax Chapter, National Federation of the Blind of Virginia, and one of its founding members. I always go to Kathy if I have technology questions because she always seems to be up on the latest. Well, there's an app out there that could probably really help. I've downloaded the Uber app on my phone, but I've been really reluctant to use it, just nervousness, not sure how it works. Well, fortunately, Kathy was at our April meeting and explained all about it. She told us about the app itself, how Uber works, and how it works for her.
What is it and why are we talking about it? Good question. Everybody, I assume, is familiar with regular old-fashioned taxi service where you call a taxi and it comes to your door and picks you up, and you get there and you wait for it, and then you take your ride and then you pay them and then you're done. Okay? And most transactions are done via telephone. Okay. That's not how the world is anymore, really. But a big competitor has come on the scene, and that is Uber. And there are others. I'm speaking about Uber, but there are others, and if you have your favorite, I don't mean to put your favorite down. This is the one I use. Basically, how it works is you sign up and you put your credit card number in. Then when you want a taxi, when you want a ride, you go into the app and you say, I'm here, I want to be here, to this other place. Then you request the ride, and then what happens is it shows that it's been accepted, and it tells you how long it's going to be before they get there. And if at that point you decide that's too long, you could cancel it. But I will say it will tell you an estimate before you request the service. So you can kind of see ahead of time how long it's going to be. And then you take the ride. It automatically charges your card. You do not exchange money with a driver. And it's a good service. Why do I like it? Well, the first reason is that currently in Virginia, the rates are about half the price of a regular taxi service. Yes. I used to pay with tip $40 to go to my office at Dulles Airport. And Uber, if they take the way that I know is the shortest, is around 25. And my understanding is, and I've never done, is that you don't tip, and I have never tipped. So so that is one of the major reasons. The second reason I like Uber is they tend to be fast, and you know when that driver's coming. The other day I was taking the service from my office home, and the driver, one of the things that Uber when you open the app on the iPhone, it says their slogan is everybody's private driver. And that's how they want their drivers to behave, like they're your private driver. And so one of the things they encourage is the driver to ask if you have a specific route you want to take, because their goal is to make you happy. Because the drivers are rated, and if they don't perform well, they don't stay around. But I have had nothing but good luck with them. When I originally signed up, the iPhone app was not very accessible. I couldn't, after a few times fumbling around with it, I got it so I could use it, but it wasn't a fun experience. About, I guess it was a month ago, they had an update out that was to fix a lot of those issues, and in fact, it's much more accessible now, and many of the updates that come out for the app specifically say that it's to help accessibility. So they're obviously hearing our feedback and taking action.
I've been a member of the National Federation of the Blind of Virginia for years, and one message I've heard over and over again is, you must go to National Convention. It is life-changing. Well, I eventually did go in 2000, and it is true, every word they say. Well, at our April meeting, Dr. Frederick K. Schroeder, former president of the National Federation of the Blind of Virginia, gave us some of his recollections, some of his impressions of attending a national convention. Let's listen.
It's not just facts. What is really powerful and what changed my life and has changed so many other people's lives, I went to my first convention in 1978. I was 21 years old, and I was fairly newly blind. I went blind when I was 16, and I did not, when I went blind, assume I was going to have much of a life. And to be at a national convention with thousands of blind people living normal, active lives is something that is really very powerful. Sybil Allen, who many of you knew, she used to say, 51 weeks out of the year, society tells us that we're inferior. But we gather together 1 week out of the year and remind ourselves that we're just a cross-section of society. We're normal people who just happen to be blind. And I think that spirit really sums it up. So anything you want to learn about, oh man, do we have divisions. I've lost track of how many divisions. If you're interested in horseback riding, we've got a division. If you're interested in rehabilitation, if you're interested in, human services work, if you're interested in refurbishing antique cars, we've got divisions on everything. So you can find people who, a music division, which, man, it's amazing. Some talent that you'll see there. So there's a lot to do, a lot of social things to do, a huge amount of work and content to do.
I hope you enjoyed listening to highlights from the April 2015 meeting of the Fairfax Chapter National Federation of the Blind of Virginia. We invite you to attend a meeting in person. If you have questions and want to talk to me directly, my name is John Bailey. My number is 703-994-2040. Again, 703-994-2040. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 21st, and it'll be at that new location. So keep an eye out in your email box. We'll be sending you specific information on where and when.
Hope you enjoyed this presentation from the Fairfax chapter of the NFB. The National Federation of the Blind is the largest organization of the blind in the United States. The NFB is the first place to look for information about blindness and the adaptive techniques necessary for the vision impaired to live the lives they want. Questions? Contact John Bailey via email at nfbvirginia@gmail.com or visit our website at http://nfbv.org.